All right, y'all. We are live. Hang on one second here. Check, check, check. We are live. What is going on? We are live. What is going on? God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. I do pray everybody is super blessed in many ways. I feel like we have a little bit of an audio issue up in here. How's the audio? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. 1, check 2. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Guys, as you can see, we've got $500,000 long on Bitcoin. We've got ourselves another almost $400,000 long on Bitcoin. We're almost $900,000 long and $150,000 short here. And the question is Bitcoin rejecting? Because we are coming to a major area of resistance, honestly. And it's kind of where, honestly, this kind of price action is where you go from 1 second feeling really excited, driving to McDonald's with Carl from the Moon. Next second, you're screaming into a plunger in front of thousands of people on the internet. But before you know it, you're sitting there in your bathroom. You're sitting there in your bathroom with the sock on your head because you lost everything. All right? You can hear my breathing too, which you normally can't. Yeah. Whew, I'm a little out of breath. But let's see. I'm actually not out of breath, but let's see if I can't get my... I know you guys can see everything I'm doing here. Let's give it a shot. Let's see, let's give it a shot here. Let's see. We're looking for crisp. Yeah, that's what we need, man. Yeah, we got it. That's what we need. A little bit of crisp up in here. There we go. That keeps the audio nice and crispy. Audio nice and crispy, y'all. Alright, let's check it out. The Bitcoin price. Look at this, guys. Would you look at this? This is some scary stuff. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Remember yesterday? Actually, you know what? I gotta be real with you guys, too. I'm gonna take some profits right now. I'm gonna take a little bit of profit right now. Crap. What did I just do? I hope I didn't do anything bad. Alright. I don't know what just happened here. Stand by. Stand by. Give me 1 second, guys. Alright, give me 1 second. Alright, I'm still here. Just give me 1 sec. I don't know what the heck I just did here. A little bit of flop and grope action going on. All right. There we go. I didn't know what the heck just happened here on KCEX. I wanted to make sure that I was logged in and everything. All right, there we go. I took a little bit more profit out here, guys. Locking in on these longs at least. A nice $20,000 profit. Worst case scenario, okay? Worst case scenario right now, $20K in the bank, baby. Best case scenario, I can always add to this trade, and my goal is to make $100,000 by October. So far, we're 20% there. Let's see what happens. All right, so we got to give a major shout to everybody in the chat. Two very important things. First of all, BLOFIN today is giving away $1,000. As you can see in the pinned chat, BLOFIN is giving away $1,000. All you need to do to be eligible to win is sign up to BLOFIN using my link. Now, here's the thing, guys. Jason Casper exclusive. All right, tweeted about it on Twitter. I've worked out a deal with BLOFIN for 0.0245% market order fees. This is the lowest fees BLOFIN's giving. All right, nobody else has low fees like this. It's a Casper Crew exclusive. BLOFIN is a non-KYC platform. You can trade inverse perpetual. Also, BLOFIN, if you sign up, you get a chance to win all these juicy prizes. and all that stuff. All right, they are giving away $1,000 today. All you need to do is sign up using my link. You don't need to trade. You don't need to deposit. You don't. All right. So if you're interested in those fees, make sure to check it out. Also, make sure to check out KCEX, which has the lowest fees, period. All right, 0% limit order, 0.01% market order. It's absolutely amazing. All right. So we have taken some profits out. We are currently right now in about a $600,000, almost $700,000 position here. About a $700,000 position long on Bitcoin. Now, we got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat. Who we got in the house? Major shout out to Spiraling. He says, is this it? The top is in. Yeah, like I thought that this morning when I looked at this FOMC pump and then rejection from the POC, I'm like, well, time to pack it up, guys. 4 years. 4 more years. All right. Shout out to Mr. Felix. He says, Mr. K, you have to be an idiot. Guys, leave Mr. K alone. All right. All right. Mr. K wishes he was in the stock market instead of crypto for the last 5 years. I think that's a little bit strange, Mr. K. I'm just going to be real with you, bro. Let's just take a look at the last 5 years of the Bitcoin price action. All right. Let's just check it out. The last 5 years, go back to 2020. All right. Where we had a $3,000 Bitcoin in 2020. And now 5 years later, in 2025, we have a $116,000 Bitcoin. So in 5 years, that's a 3,000% gain on Bitcoin, man. Let's compare that to the good old stock market. Let's compare to the stock market. The last 5 years since 2020. Remember, Bitcoin made 3,000% gains. Stock market, 200%. Man, you shouldn't have been in crypto, bro. You should, man. You shouldn't have done that. You should have stayed in the stock market, bro. I mean, come on. Shout out to Mr. K. I appreciate you, bro. God bless you, but I think you're a little bit wrong on that one. I think you're a little bit wrong on that one. All right? Major shout out to Pegless. Shout out to Alex. Closed the whole position. I thought I did by accident there. All right, but I just really, I need to re-log in. All right? Yeah, Jessica Lyon. That would be horrible. That would be horrible if I closed the whole position. But praise God I didn't. All right? Praise the Lord. There's nothing worse than closing the whole position by accident. Shout out to Craig. You never received anything in your KCEX? Oh, yeah, you had the wrong UID. I'm sorry, bro. There's nothing I can do, but here's what I'll do for you, Craig. Here's what I'll do for you, bro. Right now, in the chat, post your Tether address. I'll just send you money myself, bro. All right? I can't fix it. So just hurry up right now in the chat. Post your USDT address, Craig. I'll send you over $300 myself, all right? Post it in the chat, Craig. All right? I'll just send you over the 300, all right? So, but you got to post it quick. Otherwise, we're going to have fake accounts pretending to be you, man. You know? We're going to have fake accounts pretending to be you. So hurry on up and post it, bro. Let's get a little post in here. USDT. We need you, Craig. You got to be quick. If a scammer gets it before you, bro, I'm sorry to say that the scammer's going to get the money, and I'm not going to send it again, all right? So post your USDT address. All right? Come on, Craig, come on, we're waiting. I know it's tough. You got to find it. You got to open up all your stuff. You know what's funny? We actually used to do giveaways this way. But scammers were running rampant. That's why I do the random thing now, instead of like a Twitter raffle. Alrighty, shout out to Master JTN, shout out to Booty Day Wansa, shout out to Cyrus Grayson, shout out to Preparing for War, shout out to NYC 007 and Nilo Dragon 95. All right. All right, Craig. If you're Craig, I'm Craig. LOL. All right. Soul Surfer, the reason why your chat is different is because YouTube has two options, all right? You can have live chat, which shows everybody, or you can have top chat, which shows some messages, and potential spam may not be visible, right? So you got to make sure you put it on live chat if you want to see what I'm seeing now, because I don't want to miss anything. But the top chat is for the people who the YouTube algorithm feels are more legit. All right, so if you're not showing up in top chat, you're not legit. All right, make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. All right, you don't know your Tether address. Okay, bro, I don't really know what to do then, because here's the problem with that right now. I'm literally going to get emails and convincing YouTube channels that look just like you telling me that they're you. It's going to be a mess, bro. All right, we'll have to work something out in the future. If you're in my Discord, man, I can't tell you to do that either, man, because of the scammers. Sheesh. All right. All right. Let's talk about the Bitcoin chart, right? That's why we're here. We are here to talk about the Bitcoin chart. Yesterday, we were a little bit concerned as the Bitcoin price was coming up to the very important area of resistance, which at the time was $118,000, confluence with the Fibonacci Golden Pocket. And as we know, the Fibonacci Golden Pocket is in fact that girl from high school, the 618 Fibonacci, aka 6 Juanita. And I thought she had a crush on me, so I asked her out. Turns out I was in the friend zone. My hopes and dreams of getting matching Ben coin tattoos and living happily ever after off our meme coin gains was smashed into pieces that day. And I plotted my emotions on the chart, and you can see, whew, that was tough, okay? We also know that she didn't go out with me because she wasn't into nice boys like Jason Casper. And I was trying to be cool. I had a nice haircut, a little 5 o'clock shadow, keep the upper button on the shirt open, show a little bit of my chest hair. See, I was lacking in the chest hair department. Sad. She was into people with a nicer chest. For example, Sam Bankman-Fried had a really nice chest. Big on the left, skinny on the right. As the price was getting higher into key resistance, Market Cipher B was giving us some bearish divergences. In fact, if we just take what we see right here and paste it onto the chart, we can actually see that we are in fact printing the Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boo pattern as we come to ask 618 out in a date. Now, not only this, we also see that the point of control of the range has shifted down to 117,700. Yesterday, it was a little bit higher, all right? If we take this volume profile and we move it to yesterday, let's do that. Where we were yesterday, you can see it was higher, okay? So, look at this, actually. This is crazy. We tapped into that old POC pretty much to the dollar. And now we're starting to get a move to the downside. So it looks like we asked her out. And at the very least, she's not too interested in a date with us. And we are Jason Casper. All right. By the way, guys, speaking of Jason Casper, yeah, that's all I have to say. So we are right now getting a little bit of a move down from that POC. This is why I am in the short trade, all right? In the Casper Crew VIP Discord, I told my community I am going to be taking a short trade from here, period. I don't care about anything. I'm taking a short trade blindly from this area. The reason being, guys, is because this literally, let's assume, and I don't think the top is in. I'm still a Bitcoin bull. And I don't think this shows any major sign of weakness at all yet, okay? But the objective reality of the chart is this. If the high is in, and this is our first lower high, this is going to be our first, this is our first lower low. This is going to be our first lower high, okay? So when you're $900,000 long, the very least you can do for yourself is open up at least a little bit of a short trade with good risk management at key resistance, okay? Like, it's responsible trading to open up a short at resistance when you've got almost $1 million in the market on the long side. Okay, this is why I just took profit on my trade a little bit here, making sure at the very least now I'm going to be up $20,000 in the event of a dump. I'm protecting myself. I'm hedging myself, right? I'm hedging myself in two ways, by taking some profit off the table and by opening a trade in the other direction. Now, do I think that we're going to dump from here? Well, here's the thing. Before we worry about dumping, all right, here's the thing. It depends. It really just depends. Here's what's most important. I'm going to give you different scenarios. At the end of the day, I cannot tell you for certain what the price is going to do. It depends on the buyers and sellers in the market. But here's what's most important. Having a plan, knowing that whether the price dumps or pumps, you have a plan in advance in order to take advantage of that price action. All right? Maximum absorbency. No liquidation here, baby, because we've got a plan. All right? Link in the description. Depends adult diapers. Great for traders who don't want to leave the chart to go to the bathroom. Also, Depends is giving 10% back. Click the link in the description. All right? Drink a small coffee, pee a 10% bigger coffee into the adult diaper. Look at the confidence on this man's face here, because he knows he has a plan in advance. So here's the deal. I would say this. As long as we are above, and we can adjust this Fibonacci a little bit here, as long as we are above $113,000, objectively speaking, this is bullish market structure. We have come down to a major support, a very major support. This support level goes all the way back, I would say, to the 17th of December 2024. All right, it's almost a year. It's about 9 months or so. All right, you could have literally had a baby in that amount of time, right? From conception to birth, your baby's born. That's how long the support resistance flip is. All right. Now, as long as we are holding $113,000, we have to look at this whole thing as bullish, because we established a fair value zone where anything under this price of $113,000 was considered undervalued Bitcoin. We came below, we bounced from support, and we have come above. So now the probabilities are still highest that eventually we make our way back up to the top of this range. That's still the probability right now, is bullish, okay? On the high term time frame, let's not get it twisted, baby. The probabilities are still higher. However, the fact that we're rejecting from this area right now with bearish divergence, money flow, and momentum on our 4-hour gives me a little bit of concern for the immediate short term here. And so I would not be surprised if we see us trying to come back down towards the $113,000 area. Why is that? Well, it's because, remember, price always is trading the sideways range. All right. Clearly, this level that we're at rejecting from right now, this was a resistance back in August. It was a support back in August. It was a resistance in August. And so it's acting as resistance now. And so what that means is we can now look for the next major support to come to potentially keep trading in something like this before the next big breakout, right? Very similar to what happened down here, where we established a fair value zone. We had a clearly defined support, it acted as resistance, and we traded this sideways range until the break, right? So this is what we need to be aware of right now. And the major support and the bullish support and the support that is going to keep us bullish and the support that's going to keep us on the charts, never going to sleep, never going to the bathroom, never eating, because we're too busy looking at the chart, is going to be the $113,000 level. This would be so bullish because not only is it the value area low of the range, historically, when Bitcoin comes down to this level, it's undervalued. So this right here, this level, 113,000, is once again going to be Bitcoin considered undervalued. All right, long the low, short the high. Buy low, sell high. What's a low price? Based on the context of this market, low price is 113,000. All right, sell high. What is high right now in this context? Around 118,000, right? We've been talking about it literally since down here. All right, because this golden pocket and this POC have been the same since August, right? And so if we continue down here, this is going to be the place where we look for a big bounce. All right. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but all things considered right now, given the developments, and again, remember, we have to trade what the charts say. Yesterday, it looked like we were going to take that high. We actually did take that high, okay? Yesterday, after we made this high, I said I'm very convinced that we're going to make another high. We did make another high, okay? I thought we were going to come into around $118,000. We ended up only coming up to 117,931. We front ran 118. But nonetheless, when we made this high and saw the rejection, things on the chart changed. Yesterday, it looked much more bullish. Today, when we get that higher high and the rejection, now we have a bearish divergence, right? We have a bearish divergence with a local higher high. That's not the best look. So there's new data on the chart here. All right. So I'm not saying for certain that we're going to come back down. We could very well continue to hold the higher lows that we've been making here. All right. But at the very least, we need to recognize the fact that Bitcoin is back inside of the range that we've been trading now all week. All right. Bitcoin is back inside of this range. And so locally speaking right now, the probabilities on the high time frame are highest that we continue up towards 120. The probabilities on the lower time frame are actually highest that we come back down towards 114.5-ish, right? Back down to the low of this range. And the best entry for us, or the best target for us to get into a long, would actually be the $113,500 zone. Right now, as traders, we should be totally aware of these two very key levels if we're looking for bullish action to the upside, which we should be. And we need to just be, we need to be real and say, okay, look, the 4 hour gave us bearish divergences. That's a pretty big deal. All right. The 4 hour bear div in my mind is a pretty big deal. Okay. So I have to be in the mindset of this. Based on the higher term timeframes, I'm looking for higher. I'm looking to long dips. I'm looking to add to my long trades on dips. But in the short term, I'm looking for that dip. All right. I'm looking for that dip. Now we're going to go down to an even lower time frame. We're going to go to the 12-minute time frame. By the way, guys, if all this stuff sounds like a foreign language to you, check out the Jason Casper YouTube channel, where I have a free trading course, 100% free, 18-part series here, 100% free trading course. Make sure to check it out. All right, where you will learn all this stuff for free. All right, I don't hold anything back. Well, I hold some things back, but pretty much if you go through this course and you actually apply this information, I am convinced that you will definitely not blow your account. And with some experience, I am very confident that you can become an actually profitable trader. All right. I've seen it happen to many people. Beginner traders within a year and a half are profitable traders. Even some of them quitting their job to trade. All right. Applying this information. So, yeah, we'll come back to the chart. We're going to go to a lower time frame. We understand this is our sideways range here. Let's go ahead and pull a local golden pocket from our last swing low to the high. Okay, so the next local support that we have, and remember, New York's going to open in about half an hour. We obviously have 115.8. This is the local golden pocket and the local point of control. So if we're looking to buy the dip right now, assuming bullish price action on the high time frame but bearish on the low, we should be prepared for these three levels. All right, these three levels right here. That's 115.8, that's 114.5, and around 113 to 113.5. Now we can develop a trading plan and say, okay, you know, we're not guaranteed to come down to these levels, but based on our 4 hour, there's a pretty good chance we do. And so therefore, I should be prepared to look for trades at these areas, all right? I should be prepared to look for trades at these areas, all right? This is how I trade, right, in the Casper crew. You know, we prepare in advance, right? We had already a plan, for example. And as we're coming down to the level, we're looking at the chart, we're saying it looks good. Take the trade, TP1, lock in a profit, all right? At JasonCasperTrading.com, where myself and other instructors like Boyan, who called the long from the bottom. Boyan called the long from the bottom right over here, actually. On Monday, he called the long right from the bottom down here. All right, in real time. My man Buoyant, excellent trader. Excellent trader. All right, JasonCasperTrading.com, where every single day we've got 3 VIP live trading streams where we're walking you through our plans, similar to this, but in much more detail. So what we want to do is, as we're planning for this, we want to say, okay, well, what would we have to see on the chart to actually take a trade as the price comes to this level? What we would want to see is bullish divergences on the chart. All right, a bullish divergence is where we have a deep, juicy momentum wave on the left, a skinny one on the right. Okay, that is the trigger to getting into a trade at key support. All right, so we would want to see market cipher B looking something like this as we come down to these levels. All right, if we don't see it here at the first level, we sit on our hands. We say, I'm not going to risk my capital. I don't have the confirmation to take the trade. We wait for the next level, right? We come down here. We're like, well, I don't see my confirmations and the trend is down, so let's wait, right? And then when we come down here, we ask ourselves the same question. Do we see bullish divergence? Let's say by the time we get down to the first one, we don't see it. But by the time we get down to the second one, we're starting to see the momentum turn back up. Then we can say, okay, we have a trade. And because we planned for it in advance, we already know a number of things that most people that trade don't know, and that's why they get wrecked. All right, if I know that this is my trade setup, for example, I know how big my stop loss needs to be, which means I know how much money to put on the trade before we come to the level. I can plan my take profits so that I know how much money I'm planning to make on my take profit 1, my take profit 2. Everything is planned, okay? In trading, we cannot control what the price does, so let's focus on the things we can control. We can control how much money we put on a trade, where we take a trade, if we take a trade. We can control how much we're risking and how much profit we're looking to take. All right? So focusing on the things you can control is what's going to make you profitable over time. Most people, let's say, or probably if price starts dumping, most people are too scared. Most people are going to be shorting here, right? Your NPC trader is going to be shorting here, all right? Your professional trader is going to be interested in a long here looking at the chart. But here's the thing. A beginner trader might be caught off guard. They know this is a key level, but now they haven't done the work in advance to plan. They're like, okay, what do I do? How much money do I put in the trade? Now what? Like, where's my stop loss? Where's my take? If you don't have these things planned in advance, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because all it takes is one wrong move in the heat of the moment to blow massive portions of your account, right? You accidentally put too much money on the trade because you didn't calculate it in advance. Now you just lost like 7% or worse of your whole stack. 10%, 25%, 50%. Isn't that crazy? It's easy to do. You lose 50% in one trade. Guess what? Even if you make 50% on your next trade, you're still down 25% from where you start. It's crazy. It's an uphill battle. All right. So these would be the areas I'd be interested in. I want to take a look at the market flow, the order flow here. All right. All right. So we do have some shorts actually opening up here locally. We've got some shorts opening up. Let's take a look at what's happened since that high that we made here. Since that high that we made, we have seen a decrease of open interest. Wow, we actually saw a lot of people shorting this here. Then we saw shorts opening up. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. Did we have... This is a really weird resistance. We don't really have bearish divergences up here. We definitely don't have bullish divergences locally. But I would say this right now. All right, let's take out our drawing tool here. All right, let's take out our drawing tools here. Right now, if we're going to take a look at this, from this low to this low, let's make it green. All right. From that low so far to this low, we have ourselves, hang on, we have ourselves the price so far making a higher low. But if we take a look at our open interest and our CVD, the open interest is getting higher over time like this. All right, we see open interest coming up, and we see the CVD getting lower over time. This is actually telling us that we have the potential right now of bullish absorption happening. All right, let's go ahead and pull a Fibonacci. Let's go ahead and pull a Fibonacci from the low local to the high. All right, so we're looking at that area between our 618 and our 786. I would say this: if today is going to be a bullish day, this is the box that needs to hold right here. All right, this is going to be our green box of hope and wonder. We're going to turn off that background color. This green box of hope and wonder between 115.3 and 115.8. If we maintain this bullish CVD here, increase of open interest, decrease of CVD, and we get a bounce from this green box, that could actually be our ticket to another high. All right, so what I'm going to be very interested in today is, as New York opens, I'm going to be watching for price to dip into this box between 115.3 and 115.8, and I'm going to be watching two things. Number one, I'm going to be watching market cipher B to see, hey, do we have bullish divergences forming here? Do we have the uneven butt cheek pattern forming here? You know, we get another little move. New York opens, we get a move down. By this time, we have time to print the uneven butt cheek pattern. All right. Also, we're going to be looking here at the order flow, asking ourselves, is open interest continuing to get higher here? Is the CVD continuing to get lower? If yes, and we see the bounce and we see the divergences, that's a very high probability long, in my opinion. All right, so it's a pretty key level here, I'd say. And if we're going to see bullish action today, you know, just to put it back into the perspective of a sideways range, this is fair value zone right now, right? If you come down to a fair value zone in the range where it's 100% fair value and you see the bounce, this is actually the market telling you that what used to be considered a fair price is now considered a low price. All right, we bounce from here. The market is telling us this used to be considered undervalued Bitcoin, but now this is undervalued for us now. Maybe now after the interest rate cut, we come down here, we see bull divs. Now the market's saying, you know what? I'm actually going to buy Bitcoin here because it used to be fair price, but now this is cheap for me. You know, we went up to 118K. Now we're back down at 115.8. Let me get in here because the high term time frame probabilities still say that 120K plus is probable. All right, so the mindset would be what used to be fair value is now undervalued. We're seeing bullish signs down here. And we understand that, yeah, in the short term, things look a little bit like we could come down more. But in the long term, things are still definitely bullish, with the probability saying 120K is most likely, all right? When you're coming up with your trading plans, you need to be thinking one step ahead of the markets and planning for these different scenarios, right? It's all about having the plan, all right? We're not chasing price. We're waiting for an opportunity. And if you plan for these opportunities, then when they happen, you know exactly what to do, right? New York's going to open in a little bit of time here. We are currently in the middle of the range. We're coming down to the fair value zone. We are long from the bottom. We are short from the top, all right? This long position, given in real time in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, Monday at around 11 o'clock a.m. New York time by our man Boyan. This short position, I told my community on Monday, on Wednesday, I told them, I'm definitely going to be taking a short trade if we come up to our zone of resistance. All right. Obviously, I've taken the short trade. And let's see what happens here. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. I would love to see a bounce. I would love not to come back down to the bottom of the range. I would love to see a bounce from this box here. If I see a bounce from this box, I'm actually going to add to this position here, okay? Bounce from the box, add to the position, because I have almost $400,000 on the trade, all right? And I would love, like I said, my plan for all this bullish action is to get into a $1 million plus position, ride it up to a new all-time high, and make $100,000. I don't think it's gonna happen. That's always my goal. It was my goal. I almost did it last pump. I was close to 100K, just under 90K. All right, in the last Bitcoin pump from where were we? This was back in the summertime. From that low in June, from that 100K bottom to our all-time high. Let's see. So let's see if we can do it this time. Yeah. This move here. And I was trading with $1 million positions, man. That was some good times, all right? I was trading with some size in this zone here. All right, so I was hoping that this was going to be another one of those, all right? I'm hoping that this is another one of these, all right? I hope this is going to be another one of these. So let's see what happens here. Okay? But yeah, that's my goal with this. I don't know if it's going to happen. The very worst case scenario right now, I get out of here with $20,000. Best case scenario, I'm hoping really to see if I can make 6 figures. Let's see if I can do it. I don't think I can. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's going to happen. But who knows? Let me take a sip of coffee to help calm the nerves. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a move to the downside right now. Let's set an alert here when we come down to our area of interest. We're losing the weekly VWAP, which is not good. All right. We're setting an alert here. We're losing the weekly VWAP, which is not good. Let's take a look actually at that anchored VWAP from the low of the range right here. Yeah, I mean, you can just see how important this support is down here, guys, at 113,000. This is the volume weighted average price of the whole move up. If we lose this, man, it is not good. All right, so we've got our local support number 1, local support number 2, and then major local support number 3 here. Let's take a look at the volume weighted average price from our last local low here. Oof. Not a big deal, though. We lost this a million times. All right, let's take a look at it from back here. Okay, so look at this. Volume weighted average price from the reclaim of 113K is also right here at 115.8. So 115.8, guys, is very, very key right now. 115.8 is extremely key right now. Let's check out ETH, okay? Wow, so this is quite interesting here. ETH having rejected yesterday. What day is today? Friday? Okay, 2 days ago. ETH having rejected from that. We got some super chats that we need to talk about. ETH rejecting right now from this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to, oh, no, never mind. That's not really a trend line. That's just my... Okay, yeah, so ETH still in the local range. Nothing too crazy, honestly. I think Bitcoin's going to lead the way. I think the 4-day looks bullish on ETH. I think the 2-day still looks bullish on ETH. I think the 1-day is not super bearish because this is not a divergence. Let's check out our 4-hour. I think ETH actually looks much more bullish than Bitcoin here. You know, I think ETH looks much more bullish than Bitcoin. We find a bounce on Bitcoin. We can also expect Ethereum to hold and pump. All right. Let's take a look at some of our super chats in the house here. Remember, this is our white box of hope and wonder. Also, guys, remember to sign up for BLOFIN if you want a chance to win part of our $1,000 giveaway. BLOFIN is giving away $1,000 today. And also, BLOFIN, I've worked out a deal with them. This is exclusive for Jason Casper, where basically we are have the fees for market order very low, 0.0245. All right, this is great. BLOFIN is an excellent non-KYC platform, which allows you to also trade inverse perpetual. So you can trade for Bitcoin margin, you can stack your Bitcoin, you can short the market to stack Bitcoin, you can long the market to stack Bitcoin, all that good stuff. All right, link in the pinned comment. You don't have to do anything, just sign up for a chance to win the giveaway. Plus, BLOFIN with all their juicy prizes you could win. I mean, you could win a chair. All right, who wouldn't want a chair? Imagine that. You could sit. I could finally stop walking on the treadmill. All right, let's check out our super chats here. Major shout out, first of all, to Marcellus Wallace. He says W's in the chat for Craig. Craig, we're going to have to figure out a way to get you your prize money, bro. All right? But I don't want a scammer to take it, so we're going to have to figure something out. Shout out to Kelly Kellum. Always pumpy with wings. That's what I use. Major shout out to Kelly Kellum. Guys, make sure to go subscribe to Kelly Kellum, the BitLab Academy YouTube channel. Definitely some quality content out there. All right? Don't sleep on that. Shout out to Marcellus. He says, I always eat and I always sleep. Who's with me? Do you always eat and sleep, Marcellus? I do too. All right? All us traders know the struggle of going through phases of not taking care of your health because of trading. It's an easy trap to fall into for me. You know, I go through phases. I'm up here. I'm really good. I'm really balanced. My sleep is on point. My diet is on point. Everything's balanced in life. Then slowly the creep happens. Slowly you spend more time on the charts. Slowly your mind is consumed with the price action. Slowly you're keeping your phone on at night for alerts. Slowly you wake up in the middle of the night. Whoa, what's the price doing? Did it hit my level? Now you're on the phone in the middle of the night. Now you're getting bad sleep, so you're drinking more coffee. And then you get into this weird, like, manic. You're tired, but you're strung out on caffeine. You're a huge jerk to your kids and wife because you have no sleep and you have all this caffeine and you're thinking about the charts. And then you're like, what the heck has my life become? You look at yourself in the mirror and you look like this. Just totally strung out. Haven't cut your hair in months. All right? Drinking from your Market Cypher mug. And you have to recalibrate. All right? You got to recalibrate. It's a constant struggle for us traders. Y'all know how it is. All right? Shout out to Marcellus. He says, Craig pulled through with the USDT address. Okay, he did. All right, let's see. Craig. We're going to see if we can find you now, bro. All right. I got it, Craig. I got it, man. I got you, bro. All right, shout out to Craig, man. I'm gonna send you $300. All right, Craig. God bless you, man. All right. What a crazy thing that has been. All right, I'm gonna Craig. Post your dress. I got you, bro. I got you, man. All right. All right. Let's see who else we got in the house. Thank you so much, Marcellus, for bringing me aware of Craig. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Master JTN. Hey, Jason, the uneven butt cheek you mentioned. What time frame is recommended to check? 15.5, 1 minute, knowing the 4 hour has been bearish. Well, my favorite time frames to look for local trades are going to be the 24, the 12, and the 6 minute. People always say, hey, Jay, why the 24 and not the 30? Why the 12 and not the 15? Why the 6 and not the 5? I will tell you why. The answer is, I'm not sure. But one thing I do know for sure is that these time frames, guys, give better signals on Market Cypher B. And I use Market Cypher B. I trust Market Cypher B. And based on my own backtesting and years of experience, the 12 minute, there's something very beautiful about it, okay? 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes until market open as we come down to our white box of hope and wonder to see if we bounce or if we dump. We lose this box. Not good, honestly. Not good. We're going to be heading down towards $113,000. Okay, it was a struggle at this resistance here, and eventually we tapped that POC. All right. Alrighty. Let's see who else we got in the chat. All right. Did Marcellus create that fake Craig account? I don't know. It was a fake Craig account, Marcellus. See, this is why This is why, man, this is why it's so hard to give away money on YouTube streams, right? Because you never know. You never know. I'm gonna have to do some investigation after the stream. Ah. Alright. Okay, alright, Marcellus. He's calling himself out. Ah. Man, giveaways are so tough, honestly. Alright, let's check out now where we're looking at Ethereum. Yeah, ETH is looking not so bad here. As long as ETH is going to hold our support right here, this green box, looking good. All right, looking pretty good. I'd say this for ETH, major levels are going to be 4,300, and then a back test of 4,000. All right, for a really nice setup on ETH, a double bottom here at 4,000 for all-time highs, shooting to 5,500. Let's check out the daily time frame again. I like the daily here. I like how the money flow is getting thicker. If we do come down to 4,000 again, we would have a really nice looking bullish divergence on the daily here. And that could actually give us an opportunity to get into a good, really good risk to reward trade. Something like this. Popping on up to a 9-to-1 risk reward ratio. And potentially this could be a swing trade that could take us much higher to a potential target of 8,005, you know, within the next few months, real altcoin season. Look, people forget about ETH. Let's strip all this stuff away. Let's strip it all away. All right? And let's just take some time to appreciate the fact that ETH loves to rip relentlessly. All right? We call it the old double R. Rip relentlessly. Like this. All right, form a little bit of a consolidation, and then we just rip relentlessly. All right? We form a little bit of a consolidation, and we just rip relentlessly. Consolidation, rip relentlessly. Consolidation, rip relentlessly. That's just what ETH loves to do. Everybody gets excited to fade ETH. I remember there were so many people fading $4,000. There were so many people fading $4,000 in my chat the day ETH hit 4,000, and I'm long in the top, right? Low leverage, of course, but it's like, guys, ETH is about to rip. All right, so we're seeing another consolidation here, and don't be surprised if we see another rip on ETH. That's just relentless. All right, everyone gets excited to fade. They see a little, you know, it's a 4-day candle, a little bit of red here, slow. Oh, this is it for ETH. No, boom. All right. You know, that's my view. Let's check out AVAX. AVAX was ripping yesterday. Let's see if it's still ripping. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good on the 4-day. You know? Let's check out our daily. I'd say the daily looks pretty good. You know, we don't have bearish divs here. Money flow looking pretty good on AVAX, you know. What about Sol? Yeah, we can take a look at Sol. Do a giveaway? Should we do a giveaway? The hungry man traders just talking but not showing anything? What's a hungry man trader? Bodo? What's a hungry man trader? You know what this makes me think of, Bodo? It makes me think of those TV dinners you could buy in the frozen section called Hungry Man. It's really not a lot of food. I don't know why it's called Hungry Man. But I used to eat those, man. When I was living on the road. Sometimes I would have a Hungry Man from Walmart. Some good stuff. Alright. Am I going to stream today in VIP? No, not today, but I will on Monday. Hungarian. He meant Hungarian. Did he say Hungarian instead of Hungry Man? Oh, he did say Hungarian. That's funny. I misread it as Hungry Man. That's so funny. That's so funny. I know some Hungarian. CO means yes. I'm pretty sure Lofos means horse penis. Right? CO means yes, I think. Or maybe it means hello. And I think Lofos is horse penis. Those are the only two phrases I know in Hungarian. Alright? What is VIP? VIP is the Discord where we give non-signals. Just our instructors give you the plans, and we keep you updated with our trades. And we live stream multiple times a day, going over the live price action with myself, Thor, White Phoenix, and Boyan. It's a pretty cool community. Check it out, jasoncaspertrading.com. Click the link to join. Also, every single month we give away thousands of dollars. Just throwing that out there. Look, in the Casper crew, we pay for you to stay. Sometimes it seems that way, alright? But look, we're all about creating a thriving community. Alright, shout out to my man, Marcellus. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. God bless you. Alright. You're Hungarian. So is it true? Is Lofos really horse penis? I forget, it's been so long since I studied my Hungarian. Can I explain trap and delta? I can. I mean, it will take some time. I'll give you the short answer, but I would point you over to the order flow section on my free course. Right over here. Where is that anyway? Aha! Yeah, check this out. Alright. Check this out. This guy, he'll teach you all about it, alright? This guy knows everything, alright? I don't know much, but this guy, I'll tell you, he knows it all. Alright? So basically, delta is the volume split up into longs and shorts. So right here, we have a $9 million candle and 500 million positive delta. That means out of the total 9 million, let's go on, let's use a past candle. 31 million total volume, 6.28 million delta. That means out of the total 31 million volume of that candle, there were 6.2 million more longs than shorts. Right? So this kind of gives you an idea of what direction are the trades opening within that candle. Okay? Now remember, you have to use open interest along with the delta. Okay? You can't just use delta alone. But the trapped traders are something like this, alright? So let's go back in time over here to this bottom, right? At about 6 o'clock p.m. on the day of the FOMC stream, what do we see here? We see at the bottom 100 million more shorts than longs. 84 million more shorts than longs. 100 million more shorts than longs. 80 million more shorts than longs. So basically here we have like 400 shorts opening up at the exact bottom, okay? And then price starts to move up. Price starts to move up. And the shorts have not closed. The way you can tell the shorts have not closed is because the open interest has not come down, all right? So you can tell that there are people that shorted the exact low here, like 400 million of them, and now they're all underwater. That means they're trapped, right? This is a very simplified explanation. But that is how you can see trapped traders. And there's other tools that I use too, like net longs, net shorts, open interest and CVD, very important. Check out the free course, all right, where this man here will teach you everything you need to know, all right? And also, you can learn about this high-protein breakfast burrito that will change your life if YouTube is using the same algorithm for you that it uses for me, right? It's pretty much trading, spirituality, and lifting weights, all right? spirituality, trading, charts, and lifting weights. All right, that's my YouTube algo, pretty much. All right. All right, so New York's going to open in 2 minutes. We're getting a little bit of a blue candle here. Let's see what's happening. We were just looking at the order flow without even paying attention here, but we've got some longs opening up here at the bottom. All right, we actually have some shorts that are trapped. 15 million trapped shorts here. They are currently underwater. 15 million shorts underwater right now, and we're seeing some buyers step in. So 15 million shorts trapped. About 15 shorts trapped, 50 longs opening up here. It's actually a pretty good recipe for a pump if we weren't 2 minutes away from New York Open and just above key support. Okay, so for me, you know, because we're just above key support, I am hesitant to add to a position here. I would really, really prefer to come down to the support. However, Bitcoin has been front-running levels lately. All right, we have been going to Front Run City quite a bit. How can you know that the delta is now a closed position? That's a good question. So the way you know that the delta has been closed, and I would recommend looking at the net longs and net shorts. All right, and Market Monkey, I've got a discount in the description for this platform here. Net longs and net shorts. So the way you can tell is by looking at the open interest, but really if you're new, I recommend looking at the net longs and net shorts. So this is the net shorts right here. As long as the net shorts are not coming down, like for example, look at this. You see how all these shorts open up? This is showing you shorts opening up. We can see pretty much that all the shorts that opened up from this point onward have closed, right? We can see all the longs that opened up from this point onward have closed because the net longs came up, the longs are opening, now the longs are closing. If you see, like if we zoom in really close here, the shorts opened, they're still open because the net shorts has not come back down. All right, we want to see the net shorts is at 2.85 thousand. We want to see it come down to 2.97K. And these longs as well, we can see these longs open and they haven't closed, right? This white candle here is a big longs closing candle. This is a big shorts closing candle. This here is a shorts open candle. And then look, we see all the shorts open here. 69 shorts open, 61 shorts closed. So basically, whoever shorted here is immediately out of their position in the next candle. But these 74 right here, they're still in. All right, they're still in. That's how you can know. All right. And and you don't really need the net longs and net shorts because the open interest in the CBD is basically giving you that information. But it just takes a little bit more experience to be able to interpret the OI and the CBD without the net longs and the net shorts. All right. So let's load this Market Monkey back up, baby. Man, I would hate. New York is officially open for business. Remember, New York loves to give the 1-2 punch. New York loves to push the price immediately on open and then reverse. So the fact that we're getting a pump here is actually kind of scary for me. Because I don't want a pump and dump. I'd rather have a dump and pump. I'd rather have a dumpa y pumpa. La dumpa y ze pumpa. Ze dumpa y pumpa. Si, señorita, dumpa y pumpa. It looks like the 12-minute is really setting us up for a nice div on another Doompa. I hope we get a Doompa y the Pumpa. You know? Hope we get a Doompa y Pumpa. Let's see. Maybe I'm not seeing clearly. Let me just try to use only my strong eye. Arg, me mateys! Arg, the market makers! Give us a Doompa y Pumpa! Or you'll walk the plank, me mateys! All right. Why are the dates different in Coinalize? I don't know. Would I recommend using XO or Trading Light? I don't like XO anymore. It's been glitching out a lot. You know. What's my net worth? My net worth is really good screenshots of P&L on Twitter. All right. Now, sadly, I never took profits on those trades, but I got the good screenshots. So my P&L is those good screenshots on Twitter. I mean, my net worth is those good screenshots on Twitter. And here's the thing, I've turned them into NFTs. So someday they're going to be worth a lot. Those P&L shots on Twitter, someday that's going to be worth a lot. All right. So I consider myself a multi-trillionaire in unrealized NFT Twitter screenshot profits of net worth. Major shout out to Alan Sanchez. Can you look at Moodang? Yeah, we'll look at Moodang. Market Monkey platform's not working for you? I don't know, man. I mean, I love it. I haven't been using anything else. I only have experience with EXO and Market Monkey. That's all I have experience with, man. But thank you for the super chat. I know people use ATAS. ATAS. ATAS is one I know a lot of people like. I've never used it. All right, let's check out Moodang. 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 All right, we're getting that move to the downside here. Let's see. We're going to set some alerts while we look at Moodang. All right, so the weekly time frame on Moodang. All right. We do have a nice weekly bottom. We have a nice bull flag forming here. We have taken the liquidity. No, we haven't. We formed a double bottom. So, yeah, I'd say the best opportunity right now would be to come back down to the bottom of this, take out that double bottom, and then look for the bounce. All right, because whenever you have a double bottom like that with equal lows, you always look for the stop hunt, because that's just liquidity right there for the market makers to take before actually pumping the price. All right, this is to trap some longs here, to build some long liquidity. If you were a big player and you want to buy Moodang, you need sellers if you want to be a buyer. So what you do is you trick people into buying here, you trick people into buying here, and then you stop them out, because a stop out is a sell order, right? So when that sell order gets triggered, it provides liquidity in the market for the bigger players to buy what those poor retail traders bought at a higher price. Now the market maker's buying at a lower price, and then boom, right? Because if they don't do this, there's no sellers. You know what I'm saying? You can't buy anything if someone's not selling it, right? I might want to buy. What might I want to buy? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that no one would sell, but I can't think of anything right now. You know, if there's no sellers, doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't buy it if no one's selling it. So the way to get people to sell is get them to long, stop them out to get them to sell, and then you buy it, right? This is obviously our best setup here. Let's check out the daily. Yeah, we don't have bullish divs on the daily either. This looks like a beautiful opportunity. Let's pull a fib from low to high. Yeah, I mean, that would be really nice. We bounced from the golden pocket, so let's say 786 to 886 area where we have the support resistance flip. All right, we've got this support resistance down to our 886 area. You know, that would be really nice. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the best setup on Moodang would be to come down a little bit lower and wreck some of those guys. I'm not saying we can't just pump. We can, okay? But I'm just looking for a good setup here. Whenever you're consolidating in a triangle like this, you always want to look for those good setups. Yeah, I really don't like that double bottom, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like that double bottom. No one is selling health. Its price always pumps. That's true. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. He says, Hear me out, bro. 120K to trap, then 98K to liquidate. Sounds pretty cool to me, man. Sounds pretty cool to me. That would be nice. Actually, that would be scary. I'll be honest with you, Bullish, because I don't like what that does to the 4-year cycle. To be honest with you, that would freak me out. That would freak me out. That would really make me think the top's in, and that we're not going to see another all-time high until like 2030. Sheesh. By that time, all the sustainable development UN Agenda 2030 stuff is going to be rolling out, all right? By that time, we'll all be in smart cities. All our Bitcoin, you know, we'll have to use it to buy like NFTs in the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Shout out to HFG. God bless you, bro. Good to see you here, man. Now, here's the thing. Muhammad's new to crypto. What do I suggest to start learning for free? About crypto? I don't know. About trading? Check out my free course. All right, crypto, just, I don't know. Just go on YouTube or something. I don't know anything about crypto. I couldn't even really explain to you what a layer 2 is. I don't even really know. I don't even really care, to be honest with you. You know, because like I always say, like crypto and like Web3 is like this box, right? Crypto and Web3 is this box here, this big green box. And what I do is like this, all right? What I do is this, all right? I figured out a little way to make money right in here, all right? And this is where I'm sticking. All right, that's where I'm sticking, because that's what I found. This little thing, it's like a little my little thing. I like it. I'm doing good with it. So I haven't explored all this other area. You know, maybe I will in the future. You know, there's all this other stuff, AI and researching tokens and layer 2s and 3s and NFT blockchains and all this other stuff out here. You know, for me, I'm just stuck in this little box here. So I can't tell you much about crypto. I'm an old school Bitcoiner, all right? I'm all about, you know, negating the need to have a central bank, self-custody, sovereignty, freedom, small government, screw the banks, screw the government. You know, let's not use the dollar because they've been stealing our money consistently since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. Right, so that's what got me into crypto. All right, and this was back in 2016, before all layer 2 and layer 3 and layer 4 and NFT and that and this. Right, so that's my knowledge of crypto. Okay, but when it comes to trading, trading is this little box inside of the whole big Web3 box. You know, this is what this is what I could tell you about. If you want to learn about that, check out the free course on my YouTube channel, where yours truly breaks out the juicy golden locks to teach you the secrets of the charts. All right. Wow, we're starting to get a little bit of a pump here. All right, let's do a giveaway, guys. You know, let's do a giveaway. Stop trading and believe in something. Look, man, the only thing I trust in this life is God and my relationship with Him through Jesus, the Messiah. Everything else, man, is not secure. You can't be trusted in anything. You can't trust in any one asset. It's all about diversification, in my opinion, okay? All these things, guys, that we do, all this asset buying and selling and trading and holding, it should be a means to an end. And that end should be to bring value into the real world by acquiring tangible assets that are going to help humans live and thrive, right? People marry these assets, they marry these asset classes, they believe Bitcoin's going to be the big thing, this or that. Look, none of that stuff is guaranteed, man. I'm not saying you can't make good gains, but trading is an excellent thing to do. Because what it does is it allows you to divorce yourself from that token or asset come to an objective chart and squeeze little bits of money out here and there, right? I am a Bitcoin hodler, don't get me wrong. I hodl my Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin that I am hodling and I'm never going to sell. All right, I'm stacking my sats. Okay, I am. But at the same time, why not split your mind to where you can be a hodler, but you can also come to a chart every day and just squeeze out little bits of money, right? Why not? Imagine if you, and here's the thing, if you are a Bitcoin believer and not a Bitcoin trader, why not learn how to trade to get more Bitcoin? I mean, in the bear market, how much Bitcoin I made in the bear market, not how much Bitcoin I bought, how much Bitcoin I made from shorting the market. I made a lot of Bitcoin shorting the market, essentially, because the money I used to buy Bitcoin was made by trading. So instead of having to go work a job to buy Bitcoin, I traded Bitcoin to get Bitcoin. So then you can be a trader and a believer in the Bitcoin at the same time. You know? So, the BLOFIN giveaway. BLOFIN is giving away $1,000. We're going to have 5 winners, each receiving $200 into their BLOFIN account. All you need to do is use the link in the pinned comment here, make an account, and post your user ID in the chat. All right, post your user ID in the chat. And then we'll take a look at Last 10 Can. Thank you so much, Last 10, for the super chat. All right. Look, Retail Ryan's getting deleted by Crypto Coons. Shout out to Crypto Coons. He's spamming his address. That's not how we're doing the giveaway, Retail. Oh, wait, not Retail Ryan. I'm sorry, Retail Ryan. This is Ryan Paul. Ryan Paul posting the address. That's not what we're posting, guys. We're posting your BLOFIN user ID. All right. Shout out to Crypto Coons for keeping it on the up and up. All right. Your user ID. What we're going to do is we're going to count down from 10. And whoever is highlighted on my cursor, when I take a screenshot, is going to be our first winner. Sorry, Retail Ryan. All right. No crypto addresses, guys. All right. No crypto addresses. Whoever's highlighted is our first winner, and then we'll do the 4 after that, all right? Let's go, baby. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.5, 2.25, 1, 0.75, 0.63. All right, there we go. We got ourselves a screenshot. Let's see who it is. It is 8Lug Jake is our first winner. Shout out to 8Lug Jake in the chat. So we got 8Lug Jake. And then let's see here. 8Lug Jake. And then Jill's passive. 8Lug Jake. And then Jill's passive. Let's see. Here we go. 8Lug Jake, Jill's passive, Mata Leo preparing for war, and Matyi. You guys are our 5 winners. Congratulations. Y'all are both going to get 200 smackerels into the BLOFIN account. And guys, just a quick reminder, BLOFIN is officially, if you signed up using my link, or if you have not, if you do sign up, everyone who signed up under me is getting the lowest fees BLOFIN is, I think, ever offered, and it's exclusive to the Casper crew. It's exclusive to the Casper crew. All right, working out some good deals for you guys, all right? I'm working out some good deals with y'all in mind over on BLOFIN, all right? Also, guys, make sure to check out KCEX if you want the lowest fees in the game. And New York has officially opened. All right, New York has officially opened. And because New York has officially opened, I've got to take a pee, man. I'm going to pee. I'll be right back, all right? Keep an eye on the charts for me. I'm going to pee. My treadmill stopped, and I'm going to pee. Man, I hope we get that dumped down into the zone. I'll be honest with you. I'll be right back, guys. Keep an eye on the charts for me. In fact, hey, y'all. We're back. We're back in action, man. We're back in action. Stocks are printing money, says Pegless. Shout out to Preparing for War. Yeah, he's just taking a pee. Just had to pee, man. I hope it dumps a little bit, honestly. Shout out to Preparing for War, who's trying to drive. Well, I hope everything's good. I'm going to send that over to BLOFIN now, actually. Let's send over our winners to BLOFIN here. We got 8 Lug. Jake. We got Jill's Passive. We've got Mataleo. We've got Preparing for War. And we've got Matt Yee. Alright. Just sent that on over to BLOFIN. Man, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a premature pump here. Was hoping for a bit lower. Was hoping to come into the white box, guys. The white box of hope and wonder on the Bitcoin. All right, guys. Health is wealth. Health really is wealth, honestly. You know, health is wealth. That is faux show. Nah, I wasn't taking a dump, I promise. Jay had to point a long yellow candle in the toilet. That's for sure. Alright, shout out to y'all in the chat. What do you guys think is going to happen? Is Bitcoin going to bounce from here? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Bitcoin's going to bounce from here? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Alright, people think we're going to pump. Cool. Cool. Awesome and cool. Cool and awesome, awesome and cool. When you're hot, take a swim in the pool. Alright. 118K today. That would be nice. That would be nice. Nah, we're rejecting now. Okay, well, let's see what happens. We're going to see what happens. Alright. We'll come back next week and see what happens over the weekend. You know? 500x long with all net worth. Sounds like a good plan. Brandon says, nah, bruh. Chop till la tour. Jill's passive. I want another deep box with some bullish divs. Yeah. Steak sauce host we pump. He has a slightly trapped long. 120k, please. That is most probable on the higher term time frames. Lower term time frames, there is some downside potential. Right? Colin says we're going back to 100k. Black Swan event, Trump rugs Bitcoin to zero in a meme coin frenzy. In meme coin fashion. That would be crazy. What does market cipher B low time frame say? Let's check it out. Market cipher B low time frame says, this happened to me yesterday. What the heck? This is the RSI. Hang on. Stochastic RSI. It does say bullish divergence with bad money flow. It looks like the next dip is going to be the one. Looks like the next dip is going to be the one, man. I hope we get that next dip. Let's go, baby. We need that next dip to give us the one. Russia gonna nuke NATO, then it will be slow downtrend from there. I don't know, man. I don't think that's gonna happen. Or if it does happen, it's not gonna be what they say. Let's be honest. But I don't think if there's an NUKE goes off, I think that's actually gonna be a bullish event for Bitcoin, big time. If the news says that a nuke has gone off, then I'd say big dump and super quick pump after. All right. Are we forming some bearish CVD? Let's check it out. Himu Epi says we're forming some bearish CVD. Yep, we are forming some pretty bearish CVD here. If we can reclaim 116.5, that bearish CVD will be invalidated. All right. So as you can see here, we have this level 116.5. It was resistance all this time, and right now if we pull a Fibonacci. Where is that Fibonacci anyway? Where is that Fibonacci? Wait. Oh, here. Let's pull a fib from that last high to the low. We're coming to the 786, getting a rejection from the 786 with some bearish CVD. Alright. I do hope for one more dump down, alright? Do I use base settings on stochastic RSI? Yep. Yeah, I don't even really use the stochastic RSI, but if I do, it's just the normal old stochastic. I don't change it at all. Markets would collapse. Markets would not collapse. Here's the thing. War is great for markets. That's just the reality. War is amazing for markets. And so the fear always causes flash crash, and then things pump. Alright? War is good for markets, let's be honest. I mean, look what happened when the United States went to war in Iraq. Market pumped like crazy. You know, the fear is gonna make people sell, but then I really think there's gonna be a lot of incentive to move money into Bitcoin and gold. I mean, when we see things happen, I mean, look at what happened when the Russia-Ukraine thing first started. When did that even start? 2022? I don't remember. I really don't even remember, you know? Nuclear war. Well, here's the thing, Pegasus. I don't think there's really going to be nuclear war. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they might say it's happening. I don't think that's actually going to happen, and if it does, it's going to be very contained or whatever. It probably won't be that. People probably say it's that. It probably won't be that, because if it does happen, they're going to be using it as a fear tactic and like a power move. I really don't think we're going to go down that road. Not yet. Not yet. Could be wrong. Hope I'm right. Hope I'm right on this. Could be wrong, but I don't know. Look, I'm so skeptical about everything. That's my problem. All right. Better hope no EMPs or buy crypto. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't think any EMPs are going to happen either. All right. I'm a very conspiratorial-minded person. I don't actually believe that the West and Russia are enemies behind closed doors. All right, I think they work together. They worked together to fake the moon landing in the 60s during the Cold War. They shared scientists. You know, it's just like I think it's a lot of this is political theater, right? So, you know, Putin was a young global leader, part of the World Economic Forum. All right. Klaus Schwab loves Putin, talks good about him, right? So, here's the thing about an EMP. All these globalist agendas that we see kind of happening now, they need the grid to be up, they need the internet to be up, they need electricity to be up in order to control people. It's necessary to control people. If their goal is control, they're not going to let that happen. They might fake some stuff. There might be like blackouts periodically, and they say, "Oh, it's a Russian EMP," but it's not a real EMP. It's just controlled power outages to get you scared and controlled. That will be my view. I don't think we're going to really see an EMP because nothing happens, in my opinion, unknowingly or by accident. Okay, any kind of big thing that's happened, an attack of war, there's never any surprises. Pearl Harbor was not a surprise. All right. 9/11 was not a surprise. Okay, and these are American ones. But these things they're planned. They're planned in think tank rooms. They're carefully calculated, right? And so they're not going to let that happen. Otherwise, their whole entire plan of controlling the world is going to be ruined. I mean, it's the media that controls people. I mean, just look at what's happened the past few weeks. How, because of the internet and the spread of information, you can literally cause powerful emotions to rise up in people. And you can change the atmosphere of a whole country because of the rapid spread of information, which, by the way, is all controlled. They're not going to let that go. I'm sorry. Imagine if people got their heads out of the media, and that includes alternative media and social media, and lived in the real world. People would be much harder to control, honestly. Just throwing that out there, man. Yeah, exactly. They need Neuralink to happen. Like, they're not gonna have an EMP, you know. But I question all this stuff, but I don't question Christianity. Oh, I've questioned Christianity. Absolutely. I have questioned it. Here's the thing about Christianity. The Bible is, in my opinion, and the biblical faith is the only worldview that not only predicts this coming system of complete control through centralized government and spiritual leaders, but it also provides a way out. All right? Christianity is the only worldview that provides a way out of what's coming, right? That's why the Bible has been banned throughout history. This is why the Bible, that's why people risk their lives to translate the Bible into other languages and give it to the common person, because governments did not want people to know that there is a king who is God, who is higher than all human governments. Not only that, he's coming back to destroy all the human governments and set up his own government, right? That's not the kind of thing you want your people putting their hope in, right? If you're a government power, you want people to put their hope in you. All right? Also, when we just historically look at the evidence for the most fundamental belief in Christianity, which is the resurrection of Jesus, we know unequivocally that he lived and was crucified. It's one of the most well-established facts in ancient history. We have more eyewitness primary accounts and secondary accounts than any other event of ancient history, period, by far. And then we have the testimony and the eyewitness accounts, primary accounts of the people who saw him after he rose from the dead. And we have the secondary accounts. And the resurrection of Jesus changed the world. All right, 12 guys with no political or financial power changed the world by spreading the message that Jesus died and rose again. And if you repent of your sins and put your faith in him, he will cause you to be born again as a new creation, so you can be radically changed by God and start walking in God's ways and have the hope of eternal life in the kingdom of God. That message changed the world. I mean, if you really think about it, without any army, without any money, they literally changed the entire Roman government from worshiping pagan gods to now, you know, a few hundred years later, the Roman government became Christian, right? So yeah, there's a lot of evidence to support Christianity, and I would say this, Like I said, it's providing you a solution. It's telling you what's going to happen before it happens. We know that the beast system is coming. We know there's going to be in so much control that you won't be able to buy or sell anything unless you take some kind of symbol or mark on your body. We know that the technology is going to be there where something that's not alive is going to have the power to kill you if you don't take the mark, all right? There has never in the history of humanity been a period where we have things like AI and blockchain that makes it possible for a centralized power to have so much control that they can keep you from buying or selling and can kill you remotely if you refuse to do what they say, okay? So it's telling you what's going to happen. It's providing you a way out of it, all right? Yeah, they don't want you to follow Jesus. Here's why: because a people that is moral is a people that is hard to control, but a people that is immoral is easy to control. All right? If people are born again, if they're walking in God's ways, it's harder for governments to control them because walking in God's ways gives you freedom. But when you're an immoral people, it's easy to control. A great example of this is what's happened in the cities in the United States. There's immorality everywhere. Murder, theft, it's out of control. Makes it very easy for the president to justify coming in with the National Guard. Because an immoral people is easy to control. They don't have it within themselves to live peaceful, normal lives because they are walking in the flesh. All right, instead of walking in the Spirit. So Jesus gives you the power to walk in the Spirit, to be born again, so that those evil desires that you are a slave to, you are no longer a slave to. You know, people have this misconception that, like, Christianity, you live this life of abstinence. You live this life of, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. Must be miserable. The reality is, if you've been born again, if you've been filled with the Holy Spirit of God, you are happiest when you're actually abstaining from those things. And if you do sin, it's not fun. It might be fun in the moment, but you cannot continue living like that because your nature is not that anymore. You've been changed. You've been changed. You know, it says in John, he says that those who've been born again of God, the DNA of God abides in them. The seed of God abides in that person. And they cannot continuously practice sin because they've been born again of God. What do I think about ancient civilizations? I think they were real, man. I don't know. What do you mean? What do I think about them? I think they were real. I think they had crazy technology. Probably more than what we have. You know? We got Boyan in the chat? Yo, shout out to Boyan, my man in the chat. What's going on, bro? Boyan, one of the best traders in the world. Yeah, doesn't the Hindu, don't they have like these things, what are they called? Vimana? Oh man, those flying things. Yeah, I think all that stuff is absolutely real, right? I think all that stuff is real. Like all these ancient accounts. Are the Anunnaki real? Yeah, of course. Of course. I think so. Went on, he says, Christians were colonists who forced their religion on others to do their dirty work. Well, I'd have to say that those were not Christians. I mean, maybe they took the name Christian. I mean, come to America and everybody says they're a Christian, especially in the South. You go down south, are you a Christian? Yeah. Been going to church my whole life. You look at their life, there's no way they're a Christian. There's no way they're following Christ. Jesus says you will know them by their fruits. He says you will know them by their fruits. How do you know if someone's legit or not? What are they doing? He says there will be many wolves in sheep's clothing and fake believers and fake prophets who come to deceive people. And he says you'll know them by their fruits. What is their life producing? Is their life producing fruit that is consistent with being a follower of Jesus? Where you see a pattern of repentance and change in their life? Or is their life producing fruit of an unbeliever? It's that simple. Is a person's life producing fruit of a believer? Or is that person's life producing fruit of a non-believer? That's how you're going to know them. Anyone can say, oh, I'm a Christian. All right? Jesus himself, he says, many will say to me on judgment day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name cast out demons, and in your name do many wonderful works? And Jesus will say to them, depart from me, you who work evil. I never knew you. Jesus says, I never knew you. And these are people who are calling him Lord. All right? These are people who actually think they're Christians. They're calling Jesus Lord. They're not atheists. They're not Muslims. They're not pagans. They're calling Jesus Lord. All right? And he says, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who practice evil. So if somebody who's called a Christian does something evil, you'll know them by their fruits. And if there's no repentance in their life, and you don't see the pattern of repentance in their life, you can make the conclusion they're not legit. All right? Golden Child, we just talked about all the overwhelming evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. Probably one of the most provable facts in all of ancient history, based on the vast number of primary and secondary accounts, including multiple eyewitness accounts, including accounts that literally go back to months after the events that took place. Look into the Pauline Creeds, for example. These Pauline Creeds are dated back to like 37. We're talking about 4 years after Jesus rose from the dead. All right? All the top New Testament scholars, Christian ones and non-Christian ones, agree that these Pauline Creeds are very, very old. We have primary and secondary accounts. We know Jesus lived. We know he was crucified. We have very good evidence that he rose from the dead based on the primary and secondary accounts. It's a more provable historical fact than any other historical fact when it comes to ancient history. Ancient history. We don't have TVs. We don't have cameras. We don't have computers. We rely on eyewitness accounts and ancient historians. There's a lot of evidence, right? Someone could have just moved his body and reburied him. There's a lot of theories. I would encourage you to look into these theories because they can be easily disproved. When I say disproved, it means they're not very plausible theories compared to just what the eyewitness accounts say. Theories of people moving his body and such, very, very improbable based on all the evidence, you know. Were dinosaurs dragons? Yeah, maybe. What am I going to do when the government forces the mark on me? I'm going to trust the Lord that either he's going to protect me through it or he's going to take me, you know? And I pray that I have the grace to not deny him when that happens. But I don't think I'll deny him. Well, I pray I don't deny him, but yeah, look, here's the thing. If it really comes to that point within my lifetime, what am I going to do? It would be silly to take the mark, honestly. It would be silly. It would be silly. At the bottom of science is God or the source. Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. Absolutely. Don't click accept on the TikTok brain chip. Shout out to James Newbold. For me, nation first or religion first? Is this a joke? I'm very unpatriotic, all right, to the point where a lot of people dislike me for it. I have no love for America. I'm sorry. All right. I appreciate all the things that this country has allowed me to enjoy. But the reality is the only reason that America was great in the first place is because the majority of the people here were operating under a biblical ethic and morality system. And so the result of that is God has blessed us. But now the country has completely forsaken that. And I personally don't think there's any hope for it. So I could be wrong. But for me, America is a lost cause right now. And we're beginning to be judged by God. And we're gonna lose. America's gonna lose its prominence in the world because we've forsaken the Lord, who blessed us and made us great. We've waxed fat, and we become very arrogant. And I'm not gonna say that I'm not part of that problem, because here I am in the country, and there's probably a lot of things that I'm not even aware of that are within my own heart, my own arrogance. But I will never, ever, I just can't get behind any government, guys. I'm a crypto guy, all right? I'm a crypto guy. I hate the marrying of politics and Jesus together. I actually hate it so much. Because in my mind, the two cannot go together, all right? I know people have different views, and that's fine. I'm not here to say I'm right about that view 100%. It's the only view I can hold to, right? And it's my belief that all governments are corrupt and all governments lie, and no government has the people's interest in mind. And it's also my opinion that, you know, as a United States citizen, we have never gotten the truth in this country about anything big that's happened. All right, nothing. So here's the thing. I put Jesus first. If there's a nation out there where the people in general are putting Jesus first, I'm with those people. All right, because they're part of the kingdom of God. I'm with those people. I don't care where they are. I don't care what country they live in. I don't care what ethnicity they are. I don't care what family they come from. If they're followers of Jesus, they're my people, and I support them. Do I support the government of those people? No, I don't. I don't support any government. All governments, in my opinion, are anti-Christ. Human governments are anti-Christ. Period. Period. It's really tough because, especially in America, people marry politics and Jesus together. And in my opinion, it forces believers to endorse things that they would not otherwise endorse, right? So I'm very apolitical in that sense. Does it mean I hold to the right view? No. I'm not here to be that arrogant and say that my view is the right view, but this is just my view, you know? Am I talking about an Israel debate? I'm talking about any country, okay? I'm talking about any country. Any country. Any person in any country. Your government's corrupt. I'm sorry. Your government's lying to you. I'm sorry. Your government's not the good guy. I'm sorry. There's no good guy government. You know? Yeah, I'm still live. We're down to like 600 viewers. Bitcoin's pumping. I was hoping that Bitcoin would not pump. I was hoping actually that Bitcoin would dump down into my white box of hope and wonder. Let's see. Look, the day's not over until it's over. It's not over until the fat lady sings. You know? You're right, preparing for war. You're right. I mean, look at Nebuchadnezzar. In my opinion, he had a true repentance. Nebuchadnezzar. I know some people would disagree. But, am I moving to Russia? Nah, no code for eggs. I'm sorry, there's no code for eggs today. I tried to get it, but I didn't get a chance to get it today. I mean, look at this, okay? If we want to get biblical, we're already biblical, okay? We've lost half our viewers, so we can wax a little bit more biblical, all right? The prophet says that the kings of the earth, the nations, conspire together. The kings of the earth rise up, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his Messiah. All right. So, and then literally in Revelation, we see the kings of the earth, all of them, gathering together to fight Jesus when he comes back. All right. The nations of the earth are coming together to fight God. All of them. All the kings. They're all conspiring together. All right. So, to me, it just makes sense. If somebody is not walking in God's ways, they are obeying the devil. This is what Paul says. He says, if you're not following the Lord, you're following the devil. Unknowingly. You're unknowingly following the devil. You think you're following yourself, you're following Satan. So therefore, the natural man left to his own inclination is going to be doing Satan's work, knowingly or unknowingly. All right, they're sons of disobedience, it says. And so it's not that crazy to think that, yeah, all the governments, they're not doing good. And again, how do you know if someone's a true believer or not? You look at their fruit. You look at the fruit of their life. And I can't look at any political person in power now anywhere and say that they're producing fruit that is consistent with them being a true follower of God. I cannot see that anywhere. Maybe you can, but I can't, you know? Shout out to Quicker. Shout out to Marsalis. All right, let's see what's going on here. I hope Bitcoin comes to make another low, but let's see. We've been live for about 2 hours. I was hoping we'd get a really big move today. What's my opinion on Charlie Kirk? I'll be honest, I did not know who he was until I saw the video. And so I've actually been looking into him, and from what I can see, he was legit. He was a legit one. That's, you know, and again, I don't know much about the guy. Honestly, when I first heard about it, I didn't know anything about him. I thought he was Steven Crowder. Like, I literally thought he was just another, like, Steven Crowder guy, some Trump tart guy, some, like, Trump gospel guy, like, you know, preaching conservative values without Jesus kind of guy. These, you know, these people that, like, throw around, like, the term Jesus and Christian, but really don't, like, live it out at all. But from what I can see, if we're gonna inspect fruit, looks like Charlie Kirk was a real one, and someone wanted him out. That's what it really looks like to me. That's my opinion. I know there's a lot of shady stuff surrounding it, you know, different FBI reports and all this, but my opinion of the man himself, he seems like absolutely legit, right? He seems absolutely legit to me. I didn't make any comments about it the day it happened because I just didn't know. I didn't know anything about the guy. But from watching him do interviews on some big platforms, how he always, you know, lets everybody know first and foremost he's a follower of Jesus, and the politics comes second. He seems legit, you know. And somebody wanted him out, and I'll be honest, I do not believe for a second it was that kid they're pushing all over the media. And I think it was somebody. I think it was an operation. Let's be honest. That's my conspiratorial mind coming in, but they just want people to have something to focus their hate on. But yeah, he seemed super legit. I'll be honest. I hope the Charlie Kirk scenario. Here's the two possibilities that are going to happen. Because what's really scary to me right now about the Charlie Kirk scenario is the fact that we're seeing the right, the political right, say things that the political left was saying 5 years ago. Like, we shouldn't allow free speech. The people who made fun of Charlie Kirk should lose their jobs. All right. Remember back during COVID where the left was saying we shouldn't allow any kind of COVID misinformation. Whoever doesn't wear a mask or get the vaccine should lose their job. We're seeing an inversion right now. This is how they play the Hegelian dialectic. Thesis, antithesis come together to make a synthesis. The right is now parroting the same talking points that the left was parroting during that time, right? So there's two outcomes of this. Outcome number one, sadly, is that this event is going to be used in order to gain political control over people, Christian people, conservative people. They're going to use emotions to gain political control. And in place of Charlie Kirk, they're going to put people in like Candace Owens and these other people who, in my opinion, they're not putting Jesus first. And they're going to kind of hijack what Charlie Kirk did and turn this into a political movement in order to gain control. That's one outcome. The outcome I pray for is that people see what's happening and realize that the only solution to this problem is not politics, but it's Jesus. The only hope for humanity is Jesus. Why is that? Because humanity is evil. We are left to our own devices. We are evil. We are sinful. And the only way we can remedy that problem is by being born again. And the only way we can be born again is by turning to Jesus. Coming to Him, asking Him to fill you with His Holy Spirit. It says you can overcome destruction by your evil desires when you're born again by the Spirit of God. So, I honestly hope that this causes true revival. I hope this doesn't just galvanize the conservative political right to become more militant and to become more, let's just be honest, more authoritarian, you know, where it's okay now to censor things, and it's okay now to make someone lose their job because of what they believe or what they've said. I don't condone anybody making fun of death, okay? Let me just be clear. If somebody dies, you should never make fun of that. But in America, you should have the right to do it. And in America, you should not be fired from your job because you did something mean. It just is what it is. If we start implementing measures to limit speech and limit things you can say in public without getting in trouble, it's all good and fun while Trump's here. But once somebody else gets in and the tables are turned on you and you lose your job because you don't wear a mask, then you're going to say, man, I wish we didn't implement those measures. But here's the thing about government. Once they implement a measure, they never take it away, right? There's no temporary control. There's no temporary control. Look what happened after 9/11 with the NDAA, right? That stuff is still here. All those controls, all that spying on the citizens, all that privacy lost is gone forever now. Because in a moment of emotion, they implement these policies and they never go away. We need to be very careful right now that we're not moved by emotion and that we focus on, in my opinion, Jesus and the gospel, because that's the only hope. Everything else is a diversion. Everything else is a diversion. Everything else is not going to solve the problem. It's not. Humanity is incapable of governing themselves because we are in our very nature evil without God. Gotta watch out for Palantir. Yeah, some shady stuff, right? Some shady stuff. Some shady stuff, oh show. What policy am I talking about? I'm not talking about any policy right now. There's no policies right now. There's no legislation right now that's being implemented. But I'm hearing people, as I pay attention to what's going on, trying to keep my ear to the ground, I'm hearing people who are on the right, I'm talking about the political right, are calling for measures that go against freedoms. They're not implementing them, but they're calling for it. And it's really weird to hear people say that. It's really weird to look at how easily people are manipulated. But I don't know. I literally, so, and when I say I hear people say it, I'm talking about I hear this on the internet. So for all I know, it's not even real, right? Because you can't trust anything on the internet. But like I said, two possible outcomes for this. The one I hope for is a true revival, a true turning to the Lord, a true repentance, realizing that the only way we can have success and prosper as a people is by turning to Jesus. That's what I hope for. The second opportunity is this event just galvanizes the political right to be more angry and more militant, which in turn will require more controls to be implemented. You know? Shout out to Jesse. This is what I pray happens, Jesse, honestly. He says, Charlie changed something in me. I was very religious once, but I haven't been for a long time. I've stayed so far, I put demon faces to cover my face on my socials. But now this is changing something in you. That's what I pray happens over this. Because whoever did this is clearly doing this for political reasons, okay? deep political reasons, all right? I hope this backfires on him. I hope it backfires in a sense that instead of getting people angry and emotional and getting them to do what they want, like the powers that are behind this understand the deep implications and the deep emotional impact that this has had, and they want to use this to implement their agenda. But I pray that this wakes people up to realize we need Jesus. That's going to fix the problem. Why can't people believe it was a fake death? I believe it was real, man. I'll be honest with you. You know what's funny? When I saw the video of Trump getting shot, I looked at my wife and we gave each other that look like this. We didn't say anything. We were in a little get together, a little barbecue, and my friend was like, "Trump just got shot." He showed me the video. Me and my wife looked at each other. We're like, right. And to this day, I don't believe that was real. Okay, I don't think Trump got shot. I'll be honest with you. I think that was fake. When I saw the video of Charlie, my first thing was, that was real. That was real. All right. Now, the way the media has been covering it, I think there's a lot of hanky-panky. I think that was real. I think they took him out. I could be wrong, right? I don't know the guy, but I do think that was real. I think somebody really wanted him out. You know? I think somebody really wanted him out. Could be wrong, right? For all I know, like I said, I don't trust anything. For all I know, look, most conspiratorial view possible. The whole thing, Charlie Kirk in general, from the very beginning was just a plant in order for this to happen, right? But personally, I don't think so. I think that they took him out. You know, that looked really real to me. Okay. But what do I know? Again, I'm always saying you can't trust anything on the internet, and you can't. But that did look real. And I'm a little bit more, like I said, because I didn't know anything about the guy. Like I said before, I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. I had heard the name. I equated him with Steven Crowder. I thought he was like one of these like neoconservatives. You know, they might throw around, "Oh, I'm a Christian," but really, like when you look at their life, they're obviously not. Okay? When I look into Charlie Kirk, his life bore fruit of being a true believer. All right? He was not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He preached it, and he lived it from what he portrayed. Of course, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You know, I could be a faker too. You guys don't know me. But he lived it out. All right? He walked the walk. He talked the talk. And so I'm a little bit less skeptical about him, because I have a reason to trust based on the fruit of his life, more than I have, let's say, to trust like other people. All right. We should talk about crypto. Well, let's talk about crypto. We've been on live for 2 hours. I should probably go, honestly. We have game day. We have game day. Why does religion need to be involved? To have change? Here's why. Here's why Jesus needs to be involved to have change. Humanity, by our very nature, is bent on evil. We are bent on evil. Why do you think all governments are corrupt? Why do you think people kill each other and steal from each other? All these kinds of things is because left to our own devices, there's a sickness inside of us. It's called sin. Sin is we're walking contrary to God's ways by nature. And unless we fix that problem, we could put a temporary band-aid on things, but because the very nature of man is bent on evil, eventually we're going to get back to the same place. Okay, you could put a band-aid on it for a little bit, but eventually it all comes back to the same place. All right? And there is an objective standard of right and wrong. There is an objective standard of right and wrong. This is why when people see bad things happen, they say, ooh, that's wrong. Right? This is why even people who are not religious, when they see somebody get murdered unjustly, or raped unjustly, or stolen from unjustly, they know that's wrong. Why do they know it's wrong? It's because we know that there's an objective moral standard. And because we know there's an objective moral standard, that requires there to be an objective moral law giver. And that is God. Now, there's a problem. We know what the problem is. We know there's an objective moral standard, but we cannot attain to that. No matter how much we try, look at every single society that's come and gone, we cannot attain to that standard. And civilization destroys itself over and over. The solution is the gospel of Jesus Christ. God himself desired relationship with humanity, so he himself took on humanity. God entered into his own creation, taking on the form of a human. As that human, he died. And he died to pay the penalty that was due to humanity for sinning against God. So now, because God has paid for the penalty that humanity has committed against him, he's paid for the penalty for the wrong that humanity has committed, he's now able and just to forgive us for the wrong we've done. And because he, as humanity, defeated death, lived a sinless life, died and rose again, now he promises if we put our faith in him, he will also cause us to be born again as a new creation that is no longer bent on evil. The new creation, it's not just a belief. It's not just a belief in Jesus. It's a transformation that happens inside by the power of God. Something you can only explain if it's happened to you. But it says in John that you're born again, not by blood, not by the will of flesh, not by the will of man, but of God. And as a new creation, instead of being bent on evil, you're bent on righteousness. And it doesn't happen overnight, but there's a progression in your life. And the effect of that gospel, the effect of that transformation, is the only thing that can change society. It's the only thing that can stop us from being total scumbags and actually live in a way that we can prosper and have peace. That's the only real solution, is an internal change. All right, all these other external things, politics, this and that, I'm telling you, here's the problem. When you have evil people that are bent on evil, trying to establish righteousness through politics, it's going to turn out to be a disaster. Okay? But if you have people who are surrendered to the will of God and are accountable to him, that's the only way we're actually going to have success. All right? But yeah. Your favorite books are the ones they won't canonize? Like which ones? Talking about the fake ones, like the New Testament Apocrypha, or are you talking about like the ones that are in the Septuagint? Shout out to HFG. God bless you, bro. Well, looks like we're taking a dump, and we are coming into my white box here, guys. We're coming towards the white box. Remember, the white box is very, 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 very important. Coming down to the white box, alerts going off. Let's see. Let's check how Market Cipher B is looking as we come to the white box. Okay, 12-minute is acceptable. Let's check out the 6. Oof, I don't like the money flow, but the divergences are definitely there. I think if the 3-minute money flow looks good, I think if we come down to the 618, we can get a little bit of a bounce here. Is our 618 up to date? Is the 618 up to date? Yep. Again, if we see a bounce from here, I'm going to add to my long. This is very key. Looks like the 1 hour could give us a nice little hidden bull div there. If we lose this, we are coming down to the bottom of the range, in my opinion, guys. All right, this is very key. All right. I'm glad I took some profits out of that trade, man. Locked in a nice $20,000 win. I am glad I did so. Again, if we bounce from the box, I'm going to add to this position here. I've got $381,000 in a long. I'll probably end up with a $600,000 position here, give or take, to put my entry at around 115.5. Goldman Sachs has 10% pullback. That's bullish. Goldman Sachs has 10% pullback. That is bullish. Let's go ahead and pull our fib quickly here. Yeah, so guys, we are in the box, okay? We need a bounce from here. Man, let's see what happens. We're coming lower. I think we just hit that 618. Okay, we're at the key support. Let's see if we get a bounce from here, man. Again, this is the general consensus. And I would say the VWAP is a good take profit one on this. Again, this is definitely not financial advice. I'm personally not entering a freshie here, but I am looking to add to an existing trade here. Let's go down to an even lower time frame. The 12-minute is acceptable. The 6-minute is acceptable. It's acceptable, but not great. Let's be honest. The 3-minute is acceptable. It's all acceptable, but not great. Okay? It's all acceptable, but not great. But this is a very key level here. I'd say this value area is invalidation. Very key. Let's see if we get any kind of real, like, trigger. You know, nothing yet. We need to come back above the green box for me to consider it a bounce right now. $96X. I mean, I didn't enter this trade 96X. I only keep enough money on the account to do 1 or 2 trades. So in order to take a short here, I needed to up the leverage on the long. I didn't take this trade with 96X. You know, please keep in mind, guys, I don't want to say like I'm an expert, but I know what I'm doing. All right, when it comes to leverage. And if you want to know how I use leverage, check out the free course, because I walk you through how I use it, how to use it the right way instead of the wrong way, how to not get wrecked. All right. Check out the risk management session and the managing open trades session. All right, free course. Crypto faces in the rojo. Yeah. $30 minutes and 3 minutes look bad for preparing for war. Yeah, man. Well, I'll be honest. I was expecting a little bit higher up here, you know. But let's see. This is super key. If we don't hold this, we're coming down a bit lower. We're probably going to come down to between 114 and 113. So this is such a key box, guys. This white box is super, super, super key. How can you take a short and long on the same account? It's easy. You just click long, and then a little bit later you click short. Alright. Shout out to Philly and Funny Moments is long. Alright. We got some spider lines. Alright guys, I'm gonna head out actually, because we have Casper Crew games in 3 hours. And I got some stuff to do. I love all you guys. May God bless you all. And I will see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace!